Hi there, I'm Eric Wordweaver Sjerven, Goalie of the Ridgar Folk, and I would like to welcome you to The Raven's Call. This is a show where I ramble on about different heathen-related subjects, whatever strikes my fancy at the time, whatever sets my mind on fire and gets me going. Big UPG warning at the beginning of these videos. This is how I see the world, this is how I view heathenry in general, and I am not a hardcore recon, guys. I am not what you would call a historical heathen. I am a middle-of-the-road modern heathen who likes to use roots in tradition, but growth towards future. And so you will find my stances frequently tied to some research from the hardcore recon side, but maybe with a different interpretation, a different spin. It's just my views. It also does not necessarily reflect the views of my tribe, even. I am an individual, and this is how I individually see heathenry. So I do put that disclaimer out there so you guys don't just assume that all members of Ridgar think the way that I do. Okay. Now, before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty stuff. Down in the description below, you will see all my contact information. Hit it up, send me emails, join the Facebook group, all that fun stuff. Love to hear from you guys. I am horrible about getting back to emails. I'm discovering it takes me a little bit of time, and sometimes I do get so wrapped up in the day-to-day grind of things because I don't know about you guys, but it's been crazy lately. Feel free to give me a nudge every once in a while if I said, I'll get back to you on that, and I haven't. I apologize for that right now. It's kind of crazy, and this is something I do just kind of as a side gig. I don't make any money off of this. This is just purely something that I do out of, love for the craft of teaching and for, because you guys seem to like it. So I'm going to keep doing it. So feel free to nudge me every once in a while if I seem to have forgotten you. I have several notification bubbles on my phone where I need to sit down and do that, but I don't have time right now, so I'm going to come back and do it later. And then later ends up being something else. Hey, you know how it goes. Anyway, so hit me up. Feel free to contact me and nudge me if I seem to have forgotten you. All right. So on to today's subject. Today, we're going to talk about a phenomenon that I have seen in modern heathenry that I think could use some examination. Okay. Now, I talk a lot about tribe. I talk a lot about hearth. I talk a lot about clans. I talk a lot about community and culture. And as I'm watching people in the circles around me, the people that I interact with a lot online, I see some issues come up that come from a fundamental, I think, disconnect between some of the, not necessarily just the terminology, but the social constructs at play within the hierarchy of hearth, clan, tribe, community, all of that. And so I want to revisit this. And again, keep in mind that this is my particular point of view, my particular insights. So not everybody's going to see eye to eye with me, and that's fine. But I see a lot of people who mistake tribe for clan or tribe for hearth, or that perhaps misunderstand where those fall as far as importance and priority goes. Okay? I've done a video before about hearth culture, the hearth and home. And I intend to do more follow-ups on hearth culture in the future because hearth culture is extremely important. In my last video, I talked about hold oaths. Hold oaths are sworn between individuals, between hearths, between clans, between these entities to form a tribe. A tribe is formed out of these disparate sovereign social entities. And hearth is extremely important because hearth is where it's at. If tribe falls apart, if clan fails you, hearth is all you have left. Hearth is where it begins and hearth is where it ends. And when I say hearth, I mean your household. I mean those that gather around your hearth, what would have been the fireplace in the olden days, wherein if you think you think about the whole innengard, inner yard, outer yard thing. If you think about the cabin in the middle of that metaphor, you got the cabin, you have the yard, the fence line, and then the utengard, the outer yard, those that are outside of your circle, outside of your inner circle, innengard, inner yard. Those inside the house, sitting around your fire, eating stew, that's your hearth. It is literally the people that live with you. Literally the family that you interact with day in and day out, that you live with, that are not necessarily blood kin, but that's your day-to-day. That is your dagas. That is every day in and out, those you live with, those that are a part of your hearth, your home, that can be cousins, that can be extended family. It could just be husband, wife, significant other, whatever the relationship may be, and kids if you've got them, maybe not. It may be some specific individuals. It may be non-binary, non-traditional stuff. I don't care. Whoever it is in the singular roof tree, house that holds up the roof, it's kenning for a home. Your roof tree, that is your hearth. Okay, that's your home culture. All right? And this hearth, and this hearth come together and we form a community. All right? So, that is sovereign. First and foremost, I get a lot of people who I will see forming tribes, forming kindreds and whatnot online, and they get this mistaken idea that tribe comes first. Okay? Tribe is important. Tribe is extremely important, but tribe does not come first. Hearth comes first. Okay? So, you have the tribe here, you have clans, you have hearths, and you have the community. Okay? Now, that's not necessarily how it flows. It's more of a Venn diagram kind of thing because there's overlaps and stuff. Clan refers to your familial line. Okay? For instance, within Ridgar, I have one of my blood-related brothers as a member, one of my Jarls. So he's not a member of my hearth because he doesn't live with me. He has his own hearth. He lives with another branch of the family. And so he is tribe because of our relationship within the tribe. He is not a member of my hearth, but he is a member of my clan because he's a member of the Sjerven clan. Clans are familial groups, and tribes can be born from like clans banding together through representation, or they can be individual hearths banding together. But even a clan is made up of the individual hearths of those familial lines. Like for instance, my clan, one of my clans, because I obviously have my father's clan and my mother's clan, and then the branches of clan beyond that, with every time there is a union, you bind two clans together. It's the family tree. You go back the line and you find that you tied to a number of different clans. But like my Sjerven clan, just specifically, because that's the part you guys know about. The Sjerven clan is widespread in the area, but we are made up of disparate households. We are individual hearths. My mother and father live about 30 minutes away from me. We are clan, but we're not hearth anymore. I was hearth with them when I was living under their roof, but now that I have my own hearth, that I've lit my own fire, the clan has branched out, and we are made stronger and broader by the tying of these two hearths where once there was one. It's not always necessarily the case. You diversify too much and things can break out, but break down rather. But in essence, what you have is these two fires feeding the same clan line, each going out and doing their thing, but still staying tied. Clans can fall apart. Clans can get so widespread that the hearths don't connect anymore. The grass grows too tall on the road to family. And so you don't lose the Orlog ties that you have, but you're not feeding new weird into it. You're not building that relationship, building those ties in weird by the interaction. It's the roots, by interacting with Hearth and Hearth, we build the clan and we make it stronger. I'm still feeding the clan even though I'm 30 minutes away from my family because we do interact. Maybe not as much as I'd like, but we do still interact and do things together, but we're both doing good things for the family name, so we're feeding back into the greater clan. Okay? All of that feeds into the clan, the family line, the folk soul, if you will, of my family through there. So, folk soul refers specifically to your family line, not some overarching heathen folk. No, the folk soul is your specific family line. Okay? So, keep that in mind. Clans can come together and form unions, etc., under which there will be different clan heads, etc., etc., etc. The Scottish are a great way to look. Scottish, Welsh, a lot of those clan structure was very, very strong there. And you will see a lot of that looking through the lore and looking through the sagas and things like that. The family sagas are clan sagas. They're told of a clan, For instance, you can look at the Heimskringla. The Heimskringla, which is the saga of the Norwegian kings, follows the Fairhair dynasty. It follows those families that branch from the Yinglings on through Harald the Fairhair and his descendants, or familial ties. It's all about a clan. It's a clan story. It's this particular clan of kings and their relationship to each other, and how that clan interacted with Norway and in the ruling capacity, for the most part. Some of them branched off and were like sea kings and things like that because of contesting control over Norway. But the essence is, the core of this story is Harald Haarfagr, his clan. So you look at the saga of the Volsungs, and the Volsungs are a clan. There's tons of familial lines that are identified. Those are clans, clan lines, okay? So, I'm going to pull it back in. We've got Hearth, which is your household. You've got clan, which is a familial line. And then you have tribe, which is a social construct of disparate social entities that agree upon an interaction. Usually it's a tying of clans or it's a tying of hearths, okay? Now, you can have Innengarth within the tribe, okay? A larger tribe does not necessarily mean that all members of the tribe are your Innengarth, because when it gets branched out to a certain point, you may have a tribe that's huge. I know some fairly large tribes in the U.S. alone, wherein I will bet if you talk to some of those individuals, a member down here in Texas will not consider a member up in Connecticut as necessarily Innengarth. They think of them as tribe, but they don't think of them as Innengarth. Okay? Hearth is Innengarth. Hearth is, and then those that you bring into your yard are Innengarth. And Innengarth is not necessarily tied solely to tribe and kindred. You can have individuals who are Innengarth, but are not tribe. Okay? That gets into the other area of things, which is community. Okay? Tribes can interact. Hearths can interact, but ultimately speaking, you've got the social construct of tribe, which is made up of these disparate hearths that represent different clans within the tribe. You may only have one hearth from a clan, but they are that clan's representative within the tribe. Does that make sense? Hope it does. Anyway, each individual hearth within the tribe is a representation of their clan. Different clans, the whole clan may not necessarily be part of the tribe, but they have representation within the tribe because of that hearth. You may only have one hearth or one individual that is of this particular clan line, but that clan is tied to the hearth because of that individual. All right? Even though you would not consider necessarily the rest of the clan to be like members of the tribe per se, they are still tied to the tribe by this individual. They become part of the community of the tribe. Extended families can become tribe without necessarily being oathed members. Like, for instance, my mom and dad are not necessarily part of the Oath Web. They're not part of the Oath Web, but they're still very much part of the tribe because they're very, very tied to my hearth. They are my Innengarth, and they kind of come with me when we come to events and festivals and things like that. So, they're tribe, but they're not necessarily officially tribe. They're not members of the Oath Web. They're not officially part of the social structure. They're part of the surrounding community, but they're still, because of their clan ties, we consider them tribe. Just not necessarily a voting member kind of tribe, if that makes sense. It gets kind of dodgy when you go back and forth and try to think about the different levels because it's not necessarily clear cut. You're not talking about a specific set up codified system. You're talking about a bunch of different social constructs and how they interact with tribe. And that's important to kind of suss out because we're going to come back now to one of the key points that I have. That is confusing tribe for Hearth. Hearth comes first. Okay, I've said that before. I'll say it again. Hearth comes first. Okay? Heathenry begins in the hearth. It ends in the hearth. Hearth is where family is. You can bring people into your hearth and they can leave, but your hearth is your hearth. Okay? So, this is how you do things. And this is family. These are the ones that you choose to marry or enter into a kind of relationship with. Those are those under your roof tree. There's usually a head of hearth, an individual that is kind of the representative of the hearth, that speaks for the hearth, depending on your specific layout, depending on your specific structure. It's just a generality, no thing's truly globalized, but still. Hearth remains sovereign. Okay? If a hearth doesn't like the way a tribe does things, a hearth removes themselves from the tribe. If a tribe doesn't like the way that a hearth does things, they can remove the hearth from the tribe. But the one thing that doesn't change is how the hearth does things. Because hearth culture is sovereign. How you do things in your home is how you do things in your home. If you are trying to change things, change how you do things in your home, and it's not just growth. I mean, growth is good. You want to grow, you want to change, you want to do things differently and explore and try new things, but don't mold your home after the ideas of a tribe. Find a tribe that accepts the ideas of your home. There's a difference between tribal business and hearth business, you know? In interacting between tribes, yeah, of course, your leadership of the tribe is going to have the say. You know, they're going to be able to say, all right, well, we do or we don't ally with this tribe. We're going to work with this tribe on this particular project. We're going to, you know, meet up with this tribe over here to try and do kind of a joint event, those kind of things. Or, hey, due to some very bad things, we do not want tribe interacting with this tribe over here or with this hearth. That is seen as toxic. Here's a warning to everybody. Please do not do this. Or there's an edict. Hey, don't do this. They are outlaw to us. And violation of that can result in your being removed from the tribe. It's still up to your hearth what you do. All right? If you have an outlaw within the tribe who's cast out, right? Outlaw. You can, as your leadership, can come down and say, hey, don't deal with this person. Don't interact with this person. But they're a friend of yours, and you find that untenable. You feel like you cannot be a member of a tribe that casts this person out. Well, then it's up to your hearth. You can still interact with them. You have to face the consequences of what you choose. But the Gothi or chieftain of this tribe cannot tell you how to run things in your own hearth. Okay? You may have a tribe, and in general, okay, here's a great example. You may have a tribe in general, such as my tribe, where Loki and Loki's offspring are not welcome in the tribal ritual processes. Okay, we have our reasons for it. Don't lambast me in the comments, but there's specific reasons for it, and I understand both sides of it. I'm just trying to head that off. That's not the point. It's the tribal politic element, the tribal religious structural element. That is, you know, the edict of the leadership of the tribe, that at tribe gatherings we don't do this. Okay. However, even though I may be able to set that in place for my tribe as far as our tribal gatherings go, I cannot tell a person that they can't interact with Loki in their own hearth. I can't do that. It's not my place, because it's not my hall. Not my hall, not my call. Okay? My hall, like when we gather for tribe, it all becomes my hall at the festival. This is my hall. It's my call. How we do this. But your hall is your hall, and your hall is sovereign. So when you go home, how you do things in your home is none of my business. Even as your Gothi, it's none of my business how you do things in your home, because that is sovereign to you. That is hearth cult. How you build it is how you build it. Now, if I can look in from the outside and see that your hearth practices run counter to what we would like as a tribe, then I can say, look, we're not going to continue ties with you, because while I am going to respect this is how your hearth does things, that's not something that we want to be a part of this community, this tribe, this social construct. So we can push that away. Similarly, if a hearth finds something within the tribal dynamic untenable, such as they just have to have something this way, or else they cannot, they can't just be a part of this. For instance, say tribal ruling is that sumbel can be done outdoors as a folk sumbel kind of thing, but your particular hearth culture is that sumbel has to be done indoors. Obviously, you can't be. If that's a taboo that you have to observe, then obviously you cannot be a part of this. I have a dear friend of mine that is exactly the case. He can come to my festivals, he can do all sorts of things, but he can't sit and sumbel with us because we do our sumbel outdoors, and that's very much a thing about his hearth culture, that sumbel has to be done indoors. It has to be under a roof, within walls. And so, and there's some very specific reasons. He's more of a recon. So very good arguments for it, just not the way we do things. So because of that, when he comes to my festivals, unless we do our ritual indoors, he can't participate in it. So it wouldn't work for him to be a member of the tribe, wherein he cannot, his hearth can't interact in one of the key rituals because we might do it outdoors. That just doesn't work. So removes. He can still be part of the community, but he can't be part of the tribe because he can't be fully involved and fully invested. So he removes himself from that. It's not really the point anyway because he's part of another tribe, but you get the idea, right? Just as the hearth can remove itself from it and the tribe can remove the hearth from this relationship, the hearth remains sovereign in all of this. It's your hall, it's your call. You do what you do what is right for your hearth. I keep pushing this, guys, because I see online a lot of people confuse the sovereignty of hearth and the sovereignty of tribe. They feel like the sovereignty of tribe over-encompasses the sovereignty of hearth, and that is not the case. That is not the case, guys. If you subscribe to this within your own social construct, you're doing yourself a disservice, because strong hearths make strong tribes. Binding together strong hearths and reciprocating that respect between one another about the sovereignty of tribe, about the sovereignty of hearth within the tribe, makes the tribe stronger. Because you've got this individual over here who's very strong in their heathenry because they're very strong in their hearth cult. Heathenry is about the hearth cult. Come together as a tribe, bring all of that to bear. It doesn't necessarily mean that tribe has to encompass all of the different hearth cults within it. That's not the role of tribe. The role of tribe is to create a unified whole that builds and ties luck together and then feeds luck to the people so that we all bind together and become stronger as a unit, as a whole tribe. But it only works if everybody's feeding in and is good in their own space, and they can only be good in their own space and really be generating good things if they are sovereign in their own halls. If you're not sovereign in your own hall, if you can't go home and practice heathenry in your home how you want to, regardless of how the tribe does it, then you need to re-examine the relationships that you're in, because then that becomes more tyrannical and dictatorial. Now, don't get me wrong, there are specific things a tribe can say, look, we're not cool with this, don't do this at home. But what they're saying is, if you want to be a part of this tribe, you can't be doing this. If you are doing this, then we can't do business with you, kind of thing. It's still respecting the sovereignty of the home. They're just saying, look, this is your choice to make. What you make of it decides whether or not you can be part of this social construct. So, hearth remains sovereign, but you choose as a hearth whether or not you want to play by rules that will include you in a grander social construct. But it is just a social construct. Here's the deal about tribe and hearth, is that tribe can fall apart. I've seen a number of tribes just dissolve because the disparate hearths go their different ways and the ties between don't hold. I've seen significant betrayals of frith destroy a tribe. I have seen betrayals of hold oaths destroy tribes. I have seen tribes just kind of peter out. because the individuals weren't feeding back into it enough. It's a social construct. It comes and goes. Now, it does very much become a family. It does very much become an extended family. These are people you're tied to, and it's something that you want to see survive generations. You want to see this thing be alive and be well and be good and be strong. It's good. I'm absolutely on board. Tribe is very important to me. Tribe is extremely important to me. Ridgar is extremely important to me. But my hearth comes first. Because even if tribe falls apart, even if all of the world falls apart around me, the only thing I have left in the end is my hearth. That's where the end all be all is at. Your hearth. You have to be good in your hearth. You have to build strong hearth culture. You have to be good at home for the rest of it to work. If things aren't good in the tribe, that means things are probably not good in the hearth, and it's bleeding up to the tribe. And I see a lot of people online mistake the two. They try to think of tribe as hearth. They try to put tribe on the same level as hearth. And yes, tribe is extremely important because tribe is how these individual hearths band together and do what will build and make them stronger, build their luck, build their, through their actions, they build stronger luck together. Tribal luck is added to clan luck, and then the individual hearths benefit from this relationship. That's the essence here. But you cannot let tribe overrun your hearth, because it can become dictatorial, it can become tyrannical, and you don't want that. You're not protecting your hearth then. You're not protecting your Inengarth. Even though tribe can become Inengarth, hearth is at the center of Inengarth. Okay, hearth is right there in the middle. And it's not necessarily to say that, because it's an oversimplification to say that it's everybody in your household kind of thing. It's your household family. The SIB is the classic term for it, the sociologic term for that immediate family, that core nuclear family. Okay, you can have other individuals living under your roof, but not necessarily be part of your hearth. You can have multiple hearths living under one roof, say due to an incident wherein one member of the tribe may end up becoming displaced for a time period, be it tornado or some kind of other thing. You can have multiple hearths living under one roof because this hearth is opening their doors to this individual and bringing them in, and to a certain extent letting them into their hearth culture. But that person still remains sovereign and is their own thing. Now, they need to respect the rules of the hall in which they are, because they are a guest in that hall. But it's still whoever's hall that is the sovereign hearth. And so, there's some reciprocal respect that goes on there until this individual gets back up on their feet and lights their own fire again and has their hearth going. But they are still their own thing, but still, as guests, they're under the purview of the head of hearth. So anyway, the gist of that being that it doesn't necessarily codify easily to say that it's everybody under one roof, but it is the family, it's the SIB, it's that, let's say that I had a tribe member who was staying with me. My lady and my family that's under the roof would be our hearth, and he would be a guest in our hall. Does that make sense? Hope so. Anyway, all of that is that you've got to protect your hearth. Okay? Different hearths within the tribe, because they are sovereign and strong, can support one another. That's why those situations where somebody needs to stay with or somebody needs to support another, those hearths can band together and be good, be strong, and that's tribe. That's what tribe is about. It's banding these hearths together, it's banding these families together, and making something, supporting one another, building towards a goal. So, all right, guys, I'm pushing my time on this one. I know I've had a couple of interruptions, and one where it even stopped my recording, and I had to go back and figure it out. So I've lost my timer, but I know I'm at like 45 minutes of raw footage at this point. So I need to draw this up. Otherwise, I'm going to ramble on for like an hour and a half on the sovereignty of Hearth. But my key point here is that I see a lot of people online who want to make tribe the importance of Hearth because they don't have heathenry within their hearth, because they're not comfortable in their hearth culture. They haven't developed their hearth culture, so they try to superimpose tribe as hearth. And it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. You have to build your hearth culture and make your hearth culture strong so that you have something to contribute to tribal culture. Tribal culture is overarching, but tribal culture may come, it may go. It may be impermanent, it may be generational. But hearth culture is indivisible. That's where it's at. There's a reason why, if you look back at the linguistic roots of Germanic language, that you find the Sib being the smallest indivisible social construct. They don't necessarily look at individuals, but individuals as representations of the Sib. Substitute the word hearth for that, and that's what you have. You have hearths. The hearth is the smallest indivisible social structure within heathenry. The hearth may consist of one individual. It may consist of 5. It may be 10. But the hearth is the hearth, and the hearth is where the heart is at. So, build with that from what you will. Keep that in mind as you go forward and you build tribes. If you are in a leadership position within the tribe, respect the sovereignty of the hearths within the tribe, and the hearths will respect you. If you do not respect the sovereignty of the hearths will turn on you. That's just simply how it is. Similarly, if you're in a leadership position, do not neglect the importance and responsibility to your own hearth, that for the sake of tribe. You do have responsibility, heavy responsibility to tribe, but you also have a heavier responsibility to hearth. Because even if tribe falls apart, hearth is still there. And I guarantee you, if hearth falls apart, then this is all going to go to crap. It's just how it goes. So, hearth comes first. Hearth comes first. I don't care if you're the Gothi. I don't care if you're a Fostra. I don't care what level you're in. Hearth comes first. Take care of hearth. Take care of home. And the rest will build from that. Strong root. And then the rest of the tree will grow. You have to be free to grow. You have to do all these things. But you need to protect hearth. You need to look after hearth and be good to hearth. So, and it's really difficult. And I call out leadership positions specifically because it's very easy for leadership positions to take their level of responsibility too heavily. I know I have been guilty of this before, to let responsibilities on a tribal level get in the way of responsibilities on a hearth level. And you've got to remember priorities. Hearth comes first, then tribe. Okay? I would say that hearth comes first, then clan, then tribe, then community. Because that's where your responsibilities are. That's what your responsibilities are too. Hearth is end all be all. Clan is familial ties. You have Orlog tied with these people. You all come from similar Orlog root all the way back. You have clan ties. Then tribe. Now, if you've severed yourself from clan, whatever, it's case-by-case basis, obviously then tribe can come up the list of priority and clan can go down. I know some individuals like that specifically who would consider tribe above their clan responsibilities. Case-by-case basis, and not my call. I get it. I get their situation. So I don't know what your situations are out there, but the one thing I can tell you that from my standpoint, this is one of the few times you will hear me say you're doing it wrong. And that is, if you're not putting hearth first, you're doing it wrong. That's hearth is where heathenry starts, and then tribe builds from that. Okay, and that's those of you guys that know me personally know what that means, because you know how important tribe is to me. You know where I fall on all of this, and so for me to say that hearth comes before, you guys know that I really mean that, because tribe is very, very important to me. So hearth first, then tribe. Okay? Keep that in mind as you go forward. Build your communities, build strong tribes out of strong hearths, and you will do good things. You will have great things built around you. Respect the sovereignty of hearths. Respect each other's hearths. That's a big thing. Respect is huge. Respect each other's hearths, both up the chain and down. Respect the sovereignty of the hearth. Things will be good. Things will build well for you. So I wish this all for you. I hope that your ancestors smile on you, and may your hearth fire burn bright. That may be my new catchphrase. Thanks. See you next time. Alright, so we're gonna try for third video. Oh wait, no, second video. I've only got 3 ideas in my head, but I'm gonna try and film 2 because I have a break at work and this is the only time I can make it work. Yeah. Alright guys, we're gonna try and jump in here. We're gonna talk about the whole tribal hierarchy thing and mistaking tribe for clan and hearth, etc., 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 etc. Yeah. All right. Yeah, sure. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Yeah. Pause. Let me flip this email up because it's driving me crazy. All right, so we just did the whole UPG warning thing, and we're back. In 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Before we get started, I'm tired because I've been doing kitten stuff lately. I'm exhausted. Gotta find homes for these kittens. My lady runs like an unofficial rescue out of our house. It's ridiculous. I've got 13 cats in the house. The moment I'm going crazy. Anyway, love you, Twyla. And we are back in 3, 2, 1. Let's jam. All right, now we're back in 3, 2, 1. Oh crap. I hate when I lose my spot because freaking stuff pops up on my phone. Alright. Hearths can fall. Pause. You almost think you can get through these things, and then things go wonky, things go crazy. You never know what's going to go on. Alright. We're going to try this back in 3, 2, 1, and pause because I can't tell whether or not the intercom is coming over. So we're going to go back and do the whole clan thing, clan representation again. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. 3, 2, 1. Let's jam. Pause. My nose itches. It's driving me crazy. Okay. I think I can continue. Driving me nuts. It's crazy. All right, and we're back in 3, 2, 1. Let's jam.